Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on a classic fitness challenge, the push-up. Whether you're facing a fitness test for, law enforcement, the military, or you just want to feel stronger, we've all kind of been there, right?
Absolutely.
And what's great about push-ups is you don't need any fancy equipment.
Right. No gym needed.
And a good push-up count. Well, that just speaks volumes about your upper body strength.
It really does. And it's amazing how many people hit a wall with push-ups. Like they get stuck at a certain number and progress just grinds to a halt.
Yeah, that plateau is so frustrating. So we thought we'd break down some proven strategies to get past that.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, how do you actually improve your push-up game and, do it fast? We dug into a YouTube video packed with tips.
Yep. It's called 10 Tips to Increase Your Push-Ups Fast from Gravity Transformation Fat Loss Experts.
Okay, so our goal today, our mission for this deep dive, is to pull out those crucial strategies, explain why they work, and hopefully give you a solid plan to kind of crush your push-up goals.
Yeah. The big question is, how can the average person make, the most significant gains in the shortest amount of time?
Let's get into it. Tip 1, and this is probably the most important one.
I'd say so. It's proper form. Sounds basic, rare, but it's where almost everyone can actually improve.
Okay, proper form. I think a lot of us think we know how to do a push-up, but are we really doing it right? Is bad technique holding us back or maybe even setting us up for injury?
Oh, absolutely. The video points out a few really common mistakes. One is not engaging your core.
Ah, okay.
If your core's not tight, your spine can sag or maybe even round up. That makes the push-up less effective. You're basically leaking energy.
Leaking energy, I like that. Makes it less efficient, tires you out faster.
Exactly. And it puts weird stress on your back, too.
Okay. And what about elbow placement? I feel like I see elbows flaring way out sometimes.
Yeah, that's another big one. Ideally, you want your elbows at about, say, a 45-degree angle from your body. Not tucked right in, but definitely not flared out wide like a T.
So how do you get that right angle?
The video suggests a simple trick. Just slightly rotate your hands outward when you plant them on the floor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, just a little bit. That little tweak naturally helps tuck your elbows in towards that 45-degree spot.
Huh. So it's not just brute strength, it's also optimizing the leverage and how you're moving the weight.
Precisely. It's biomechanics. Small changes can make a big difference in how force goes through your joints. And hand width matters, too.
Right, narrow versus wide.
Yeah, if your hands are too narrow, it hits your triceps more, which is fine. But it would probably limit the total number of push-ups you can crank out, especially if you're just starting.
Okay, so walk us through the ideal push-up then. What does perfect form actually look like, step by step?
All right, so start on all fours, hands slightly wider than shoulder width with that little outward rotation we mentioned.
Got it.
Plant your toes, lift your knees, get into a solid plank position. Now the key's force. Squeeze your core and your glutes really tight.
Keep everything locked in.
Yep. Create a straight line, basically, from your head right down to your heels. No sagging hips, no butt in the air.
Okay.
Then lower your chest down until it's just above the ground, bending at the elbows, keeping them tracking back at that angle.
And then push back up.
Push back up to full elbow extension. That straight line is absolutely critical the whole time.
Okay, solid foundation. Form first. Now that we've covered technique, let's talk about something else that affects it in your own body. Which brings us to tip number 2. The impact of body fat.
Right. This is a factor people often overlook. The video's really clear on this. The more you weigh, the more resistance you're pushing against in every single push-up.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of a bench press, isn't it? Where sometimes bigger guys can just naturally move more external weight.
Exactly. With push-ups, you are the weight.
So you're pushing a percentage of your own body weight. Is there a number for that?
There is, actually. The video cites a study, I think it was in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, that found you lift roughly 64% of your body weight during a standard push-up.
Wow, 64%. That's way higher than I would have guessed.
It is.
That really puts the difficulty into perspective. So if you're, say, 200 pounds, you're basically pushing 128 pounds every single rep.
Exactly. And if you're 150 pounds, that drops to, 96 pounds?
That's a huge difference. 30 pounds less resistance per push-up.
It is. So the video's point is pretty straightforward. If you want to boost your push-up numbers, reducing excess body fat can be a really effective strategy. It makes each rep easier.
Makes total sense. Less weight equals less work per rep.
Okay, now tip number 3 dives into push-up variations, specifically kneeling and incline push-ups. How do these help?
Well, these variations essentially change the leverage and reduce how much of your body weight you're actually lifting.
So they make it easier.
Yep. That same study the video mentioned found that kneeling push-ups are about 49% of your body weight.
Okay, down from 64%. Right. And incline push-ups, where your hands are elevated on a bench or wall, can be as low as 41%, maybe even less, depending on how high your hands are.
So if someone struggles to do even one full push-up, these are great starting points to build that initial strength.
Precisely. It lets beginners build the necessary muscle activation patterns, the coordination, without getting completely overwhelmed by the full resistance.
But what about people who can already do some push-ups? Do these easier versions still have a place?
Oh yeah, definitely. The video highlights how even advanced folks can use them. They suggest using them as drop sets.
Ah, okay, like in weightlifting.
Exactly. So you do as many regular push-ups as you can, reach failure, and then immediately drop to your knees or move to an incline bench and bang out a few more reps.
Pushing past that initial failure point with an easier version, smart. It really maximizes the work your muscles do in that set.
That's the idea. Now, once you're hitting, say, 15 or more good form regular push-ups, the video suggests moving on to tip number 4, overloading with harder variations.
Okay, overloading, making it tougher.
Yeah, things like elevating your feet or using resistance bands.
So the goal here is to build more maximal strength so that regular push-ups eventually feel easier by comparison.
Exactly that. First up, foot elevation. Raising your feet on a step or bench shifts more of your weight towards your upper body.
Increasing the resistance.
Right. That study, again, it showed that raising your feet about 2 feet increases the load to around 74% of your body weight.
Whoa, 74%. So that's significantly harder than a standard push-up.
Oh, yeah. So the video suggests maybe starting your push-up workout with these harder feet elevated ones when you're fresh.
And then?
And then as you fatigue, you move down to regular push-ups, maybe even finish with kneeling push-ups. It's like that drop set idea, but in reverse, starting hard, going easier.
An inverted drop set? Cool. Okay, what about resistance bands? How do they fit in?
Bands are interesting. The video notes there aren't like tons of studies on band resistor push-ups specifically.
But for other exercises?
Yeah, but they point to bench press studies showing that adding bands can increase strength gains compared to just using weights alone. The logic applies here. You wrap a band around your back and hold the M's under your hands.
Adding extra tension as you push up.
Exactly. And the cool thing about bands, which the video mentions, is how they affect the strength curve.
The strength curve? What's that about?
Well, in a push-up, it's usually hardest near the bottom and gets easier toward the top, right?
Yeah, that first push off the floor is tough.
Right. But a resistance band does the opposite. It provides less resistance at the bottom and more resistance at the top as it stretches.
Ah, so it adds resistance where you're naturally strongest.
Precisely. It helps overload the entire range of motion more effectively and can help you power through that sticking point, which is usually, about a third of the way up.
I see. So it evens out the difficulty, makes the whole movement more challenging.
Yeah.
Very clever. Okay, tip number 5. Switches gears a bit, core strength.
Yes. This is so important, but often neglected for push-ups. The video uses a great analogy.
Oh, yeah.
Don't shoot a cannon from a canoe.
Huh. Okay, I get that. If your core is unstable and wobbly, you can't generate much power.
Exactly. A weak core means your body isn't rigid. It's harder to maintain that straight line, harder to transfer force efficiently from your upper body to move your weight.
So what kind of core exercises does the video recommend? Crunches? Leg raises?
Actually, no. They specifically recommend core stabilization exercises. Things like planks, side planks, ab wheel rollouts.
Why those specifically?
Because they train your core to resist movement and stay stable, kind of like it needs to during a push-up. It's about static strength and stability, which has better carryover than dynamic movements like crunches for this specific goal.
Building that rigid plank in your torso.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, that leads nicely into tip number 6. Progressive overload. We hear this term all the time in fitness.
We do, and it's fundamental.
What does it really mean in the context of push-ups?
Simply put, it means gradually, systematically increasing the demands you place on your muscles over time. You have to give them a reason to adapt and get stronger.
So not just doing the same thing week after week.
Exactly. You need to challenge yourself more. The video gives some clear examples. Doing more reps per set. If you did 10 last time, aim for 11 or 12 this time.
Or more sets.
Or doing more sets overall, yeah. Maybe go from 3 sets to 4 sets. It increases the total volume.
Little increments that add up.
Tiny steps are key. The video also mentions increasing the actual resistance, the weight. We talked about elevating feet or using bands.
Right.
But you could also add external weight, like wearing a weighted vest or putting plates in a backpack.
Does that have any other benefits besides just making it harder?
Well, yeah, there's a nice psychological effect.
Yeah.
Train with that extra 10 or 20 pounds, and then when you take the backpack off, regular push-ups suddenly feel way easier.
Huh, bet. Okay, progressive overload is crucial. Now, tip number 7 talks about frequency. How often should we be doing push-ups?
Yeah, the video emphasizes that more frequent practice usually leads to faster improvement, especially with bodyweight skills like push-ups.
Why is that?
Well, partly it's skill acquisition. The more you do them, the more efficient your body becomes neurologically. Your brain and muscles get better at coordinating the movement pattern.
Like learning any skill, practice helps.
Right. And it also ties back to training volume. Research generally shows that higher training volume, up to a point, is better for building muscle and strength. Doing push-ups more often helps you accumulate that volume.
So how often is more often? Once a week isn't enough.
Probably not if you want rapid gains. The video suggests aiming for maybe 3, even 4 times a week.
Okay.
And the great thing about push-ups is they're so accessible, right? You don't need a gym. You can do them at home pretty much anywhere. So training frequently is actually feasible for most people.
Good point. Okay, more practice, more volume. Now, tip number 8 introduces something a bit different, incorporating weight training.
Yeah, this is interesting. Some people might think, if I want to get better at push-ups, I should only do push-ups.
But the video argues otherwise.
It does. It says that push-ups and traditional weight training, think bench press, dumbbell press, overhead press, are actually really complementary. They work well together.
How so? What's the connection?
Well, lifting heavier weights, typically for lower reps, helps build your maximal strength in those pressing muscles, your chest, shoulders, triceps.
Okay.
So if you increase your absolute strength with weights, then your body weight, which you're using for push-ups, represents a lower percentage of your maximum capability.
So the push-ups become relatively easier because you're just overall stronger.
Exactly. You're operating further away from your limit. Plus, the video points out something practical about weights.
Which is?
You can make really small, incremental increases in resistance, adding just 2.5 pounds to a barbell, for instance. That kind of precise micro-progression is harder to achieve consistently with just bodyweight variations alone.
That allows for really steady progressive overload.
For sure. So the video basically recommends incorporating some weight training, even if your primary goal is just more push-ups, because it builds that raw strength foundation and can target any lagging muscle groups.
Makes sense. Strengthen the whole system. All right. Tip number 9 is maybe less technical, but just as important. Consistency.
Oh, absolutely fundamental.
Yeah,
this applies to everything in fitness, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
The video really stresses that, significant improvement takes time and consistent effort. You're not going to magically double your push-up max overnight or even in a week.
It's easy to get discouraged if you expect results too quickly.
For sure. It's about creating a realistic plan based on these tips, being patient with yourself, and just sticking with it day in, day out, week after week.
Yeah, the video had a good line about underestimating long-term progress.
Right. We often overestimate what we can do in a short burst, but vastly underestimate what consistent effort can achieve over months or years.
So true. Consistency is king. Okay, finally, tip number 10. Prioritizing push-ups in your workout routine.
Yeah, this is more about workout structure and managing fatigue.
Pretty simple advice here.
Yeah, it's straightforward. If your main goal right now is to improve your push-up performance, the video says you should do your push-up training at the beginning of your workout session.
When you're fresh, not fatigued.
Exactly. You'll be able to perform better, push harder, get more quality reps in, which helps drive that progress according to the progressive overload principle.
And conversely,
if push-ups are more of an accessory exercise for you, maybe your main focus is heavy bench pressing or something else, then it's fine to do them later in the workout after your main lifts. It just depends on your priorities.
Got it. Prioritize what matters most to you right now. Okay, so let's quickly recap those 10 tips. We had 1, nail the form.
2, manage body fat, less weight is easier.
3, use easier variations like kneeling or incline to build up or push past failure.
4, overload with harder variations, elevated feet, resistance bands to build strength.
5, build that solid core stability. The cannon on a canoe thing.
6, consistently apply progressive overload, more reps, sets, or resistance.
7, increase training frequency practice more often, maybe 3-4 times a week.
8, incorporate weight training to build overall maximal strength.
9, be consistent. Stick with the plan.
And 10, prioritize push-ups early in your workout if they're your main goal.
Wow, okay. That's a pretty comprehensive list derived from that video.
It really covers a lot of ground. And as the video suggests, if you actually apply these principles consistently, you really should see some solid improvement in your push-up numbers, and probably quite quickly.
Absolutely. So the question for everyone listening is, which one or two of these tips jumps out at you? Which one could you maybe implement, like starting today or this week?
Yeah, it's interesting how an exercise we think of as simple, the push-up, actually touches on so many different aspects of training technique, body composition, overload strategies, frequency.
It really does. Maybe you'll explore some of those different push-up variations we talked about, or perhaps dig into how resistance bands could fit into your routine. There's always something more to learn and apply.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.